someone worked it out. You know, like that missus that he's running around with.
Yeah.
Like at the time he was hitting on her, she was definitely way underage. Yeah, it was like.
I'm pretty sure. I rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark
Yeah,
couple months
Rob,
ago.
you do a lot of rewatching.
Yeah.
That's where
Oh
you know I
man,
kind of differ.
I rewatched Fellowship of the Ring yesterday with my dad.
And that makes it number 675 times you watched it now, right?
The last time I watched was like 2019.
How many times have you watched this movie?
I have no idea, but there's like a small anecdote, small story on why I'm rewatching Lord of the Rings because I was scrolling through Netflix one day. Lord of the Rings recently hit Netflix Australia, and my dad was just looking at the screen too, and he was like, "Hey, Lord of the Rings, let's watch that." And I was like, "Okay, when I have time, because those movies like 3 hours long." And then I found out that the versions on Netflix, Lord of the Rings has been out for 20 years. Um, Now we're talking about movies. Yeah.
See what I told you? Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
stress, it just gets there.
Lord of the Rings has been out for 20 years, and they've got a bunch of different versions around. They've got the theatrical versions, the extended cuts, the Blu-ray versions of the extended cuts. And then last year, Peter Jackson remastered them and released them in 4K. So I got a hold of the 4K versions instead of... wait, no. The Netflix versions are the extended cut, but... I've got a 4K TV, and given the opportunity to watch a movie in 4K, I will do it. So I've got a copy of the 4K Lord of the Rings movies, and we just watched Fellowship of the Ring yesterday. It is every bit as affecting as it was when it first came out. Was when I first watched it. I teared up at the end because the whole story of the Lord of the Rings to me is about good triumphing over evil, and the tragedy of Frodo Baggins is that as a character, or by the end of Fellowship of the Ring, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. If he does not destroy the ring, Middle-earth is gone, and he thinks he has to do it alone, but he doesn't. He's got motherfucking Samwise Gamgee. he's got he's got Samwise Gamgee, who doesn't know how to swim, trying to get after him on a canoe at the end of that movie. And I'm watching it and I'm going like, you don't have to do it alone, man. You've got a mate. You've got a mate.
Dude, nah, look, I don't know about you saying, like, you don't know about taking down to a time, like a time period, but
Yeah.
straight up, I don't know, all these things, they have that common, it's just...
Fair, because like if we go back to what I said about trying to find connections between hobbies,
Yeah.
I did a thing where I was like, okay, let me try and find a connection between the Beatles, which was one of my favorite bands.
Your kind of music,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't even listen to modern music, and my friends give me shit for it. My digital photographer mate, the organizer, he gives me shit for doing film photography, but I can talk about that too. But like, I was trying to find a connection between the Beatles and maybe like watches, because like in my mind I can't think of one, but yeah, like the Beatles, they're a rock band around that time. You've got Queen as a band too, and Queen guitarist Brian May just released a limited edition Seiko watch, so bam, connection.
If you talk watches, the way the watches were back, I've got a cousin in Vietnam.
Right.
But he has a bunch of like really special watches that associate with like their models of the ones that were used back during like fighter pilots and stuff.
Right. Field watches or like pilots watches.
Yeah. Stuff that they can
Aviators watches?
certain rules on them.
Yeah.
Way, or they're gonna,
I love those.
Yeah. So, dude, you have like, it's like you've got this. Look, I'm not smart enough to be able to put a thing to it, but it's like saying, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be ancient. You just like you definitely like history. It's history.
Yeah.
It's like history that's modern.
Yeah.
Modern history.
Yeah. I thought about that too. To me, the best way I could put it was, I'm not really interested in what we have now. I'm interested in how we got here.
Yeah. Oh, the main point being like, look at today. Like, this is the future.
Yeah.
Like the way phones have become forward.
We're living in the future.
And you don't want to lose. You don't want to be disconnected from the stuff that got us here in the first place.
Yeah.
You must stick,
Because
you know.
music's interesting too. Because then, if you look at the progression of music from, if we start at like gospel music to where we are now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, damn. The difference between those two is insane. You've got like gospel music and maybe blues, whatever people were singing on the plantations at that time too. Going into from blues to rock and roll to R&B. Then we've got mumble rap.
R&B and gospel.
Yeah. Then we've got mumble rap
God, the
nowadays.
other's about loving each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Damn.
or you also see like you have like your famous rappers and singers and stuff.
Yeah.
Who you started in the church.
Yeah.
You have Beyonce and your what's his face, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it's not that I dislike.
The black ones, but
Yeah, it's not that I dislike rap anyway too, because like a lot of my friends feel like or think that I dislike rap or I dislike pop, but I've got an appreciation for rap just from
Give me the time
from the 80s, from the 80s, because
ever tell me that this is a good time.
yeah, because in my
Fucking time traveler, right, Rob? I'm done.
Right,
Dress
yeah,
like a fucking
yeah.
time traveler, button up shirt and a watch. Get out of here.
Yeah, because in my opinion, it's all a matter of tastefulness. Because I feel like culture nowadays compared to culture back then, it's definitely different.
Okay, it doesn't have that like that realness, yeah.
I don't even know if it's realness, but to me, I feel like
the wrong word.
people have been getting meaner.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Like that,
I don't even know if authenticity is the thing as well. Maybe it is.
I think the word's authentic. It's like
Yeah.
not or like whether or not it's authentic or not, how you perceive that authenticity.
Right.
Like with that watch, how you describe
Yeah.
those functions and
Yeah.
stuff. There's this, the authenticity comes in you being able to connect with this thing that you understand.
Right.
But then I give you a digital watch like on my phone, you're like, well, that's where that because you're like, okay,
Yeah.
it goes with the time, cool. There's nothing more further and functional to this for me.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it lacks that
Right.
realness or authenticity.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Everything that you like, I see, like you draw it back to a thing. You know. You can
True.
really,
True.
That's like
That thing could be like either a time period or like an experience.
or think if this is the Black Mirror world where the phones are being like these unemotional thing, you're like trying to like real like take your time before you fall into that. You know?
Right,
You're
right.
still trying to.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by real and like authentic, like it's rustic, tangible.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like
Fair enough.
Holding like the click clack of the camera, that's real.
Right.
Versus the just hit the button and the screen going like that and it's like, oh, I got the photo.
Yeah.
Like